my journey to the Trinity, where I talk about experiences I've had as an ex-Muslim who's come to the Lord Jesus Christ and come to know the truth about Jesus, that he is the Son of God, that he is second person of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and then also talk about some issues within Islam that and today I just wanted to, I want to talk a little bit about a video, and it's a sheikh. It's in Arabic. I've done some translating for Father Zechariah, a lot of translating of his programs to English, and so I've learned a lot from his lessons. And there's a sheikh named Muhammad Hassan, and very well known in the Arab world, and about the issue of the recitations. How many Qur'ans are there? We hear so much about, if you look at what Hatun Tash has done, there's like 37 different Qur'ans out there, and that she literally has the 37 different Qur'ans, and so you can find these Qur'ans, you can find them in the souk anywhere. You can go to Jordan and walk down the street and look for these different Qur'ans, and they're there, but what's really neat is to hear some Arab sheikhs actually talking about this, and so I just want to play a video of Sheikh Hassan. This guy's very well known, very well respected in the Middle East, and you know what? It's like we heard Yasser Qadi in the United States say, he was saying, he's with Muhammad Hajab, and he's saying, my brothers and sisters, this isn't a joke. This is the biggest problem within Islam today, is the qira'at, the ahruf al-sab'a, the 7 modes of the Quran, because Muhammad said that the Quran came down in 7 modes. In other words, 7 different Qurans. And so, but you know what? In the Arab world, this is also a big issue. They do realize that they have a problem here. And but listen to how this guy deals with this problem. I'm going to play the video probably many times just because this guy is very well known, and the explanation that he gives. If you feel that this solves the problem for you, yes, not just 7. In fact, Adam, I'm going to send you an invite after I get this. See if you can watch. I'm not putting anything on the screen because I want you to see the English translation. This guy's speaking in Arabic, but I want you to see the English translation. This is a very famous sheikh. His name is Muhammad Hassan. And so anyway, let me go ahead. I'm going to hide myself, and I'm just going to play what this guy is saying. And
بين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة، سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا، فجاء حذيفة وقال يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Okay, so there's Muhammad Hassan. Okay, this isn't a Christian priest, and listen to what he said. You know what? What I've heard is that there's seven modes and 7 recitations. Modes is the ahruf. Ahruf is the letters, words, and then there's the 7 recitations. Saeed, do you want بدك تطلع معي تنظرني؟ اهلا وسهلا بيك. خيط كلام حسن، انت شفت كلام محمد حسان، بدك تطلع معي؟ اهلا وسهلا بيك. انا راح ابعث لك دعوه، اذا بتحب تطلع معي اهلا وسهلا بيك وتعال، وانا ببعث لك دعوه وإذا بتحب تطلع معي, if you want to come on with me, Saeed, welcome. You can come on and you can debate me. But you can debate me, but you got to admit, Saeed, you have to admit, there's no way around this, that this guy's saying there's 7 modes and 7 recitations. Now, I've always heard there's 10 recitations. Now, this guy's saying, Muhammad Hassan, he's saying some people were reading in Iraq, they were reading the Ibn Mas'ud, and then the other one, I can't remember the name of the guy, I always forget his name. But there's all these different Qur'ans. There are always all these different Qur'ans. And so he's saying which one, and then they went to the Amir al-Mu'mineen, they went to Uthman, and they said, hey, because he was the caliph, they says, make us one Qur'an. We want one Qur'an. يا سعيد يلا اطلع سعيد إذا بدك تطلع معي اطلع معي إذا بدك تناظرني ناظرني لكن شوف الكلام هذا مش كلامي. Saeed, if you want to come on with me, you're welcome. You can come on with me and debate me. But you know what? Yes, and Adam is telling, what Uthman did when he had all these different Qur'ans, because there was going to be warfare. This is in Sahih al-Bukhari. We're not making this up. We're not making this up, Saeed. This is in your books. This is in your books, and it's not me that's making this up. You know what? In fact, I'm gonna just play the video again. I'm gonna play the video again because I want you to see. I'm not the one who's.
بين القراءات السبع فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا. فجاء حذيفة وقال يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Okay, that's one of the videos. I want to show you another video too. Okay, because there's another video with this guy. Okay. And again, I give, thank God for Father Zechariah, who was the one that kind of, who has studied this thing, and he's the one that really showed it. But here, I want you to see another video.
حديثا للتأريخ، صار حديثا نظريا. ليه؟ لأن عثمان رضي الله عنه جمع الأمة على حرف واحد الذي به نزل القرآن على قريش، فلقد نزل القرآن بلسان قريش. ولذا صار الحديث عن الأحرف مرحلة تاريخية ماضية لا وجود لها الآن. وأود أن يفرق أحبابي بين الأحرف السبع وبين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة.
So he's saying that the seven modes and the seven recitations, he's saying this is a historic thing that no longer exists. It no longer exists. So you can't even say that it doesn't even exist today. And apparently my cousin Saeed has not come on. And so, سعيد إذا بتحب تطلع معي أهلا وسهلا، أنا بعثت لك الدعوة، إذا بدك تيجي أهلا وسهلا بيك، إذا بدكش تطلع أنا بدي أخلي صاحبي يطلع معي، بس إذا بدك تطلع معي قل لي، أنت تقدر تطلع واشرح، قل لي شو رأيك أنت. بس بدي أقول صاحبي آدم إنه هو يطلع معي مشان نحكي عن هذا الموضوع. يعني here it is. I mean, this isn't just some Christians talking about. This is a sheikh. This is a sheikh, a very well-known sheikh, very well known, Muhammad Hassan. He's on TV a lot, and here he is saying that we've got 7 here, 7 there, and then he goes even further. He says that it's a historic thing. We don't even talk about it because Uthman, you know what Uthman did? Uthman burned the 6 Qur'ans. Uthman burned the 6 Qur'ans so that you don't even have them anymore. This is what he's saying, and yet. Then what do you do with the 37 Qur'ans that we have today? Where did they come from? Where did the 37 Qur'ans we have today come from? Because this guy is saying it's a historic thing. It says it no longer exists. We know it was something to. And I'm wondering, well, what about when they told us that the Qur'an came down in one? There was one Qur'an, and it's got all of Jibreel brought it down to Muhammad. What happened to that? And then Uthman celebrated the burn the Quran day. Adam, if you want to come on, I sent you an invitation if you'd like to come on and discuss this, because I know that you've done a lot of work about this too. And you know what? I'm just gonna play this again. Because it's stronger than anything I could say. Just to hear this guy say what he's saying. Let me just go ahead and play it again.
وبين القراءات السبع فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق. هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود. يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا. فجاء حذيفة وقال: يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
So if you're listening to what he's saying that there was these different Quran that they were reading in Iraq. There was a different Quran that they were reading in Syria, and became like a civil war, and people began to say, wait a minute, you're reading the wrong Quran. The other one said, no, you're reading the wrong Quran. And they had different Qurans, and so they were about to go to civil war. And then they came to Uthman, the Prince of the Believers, and they says, oh, help us, Uthman, the Prince of Believers, help us. Because we got this issue here, and we're going to become like the Christians and the Jews, with different versions. And so they said, make us one Quran. This is Uthman. This is after Muhammad. This is the 3rd caliph. Okay, this isn't like, first one was Abu Bakr. Now he came up with the Quran. And then there was Omar. And then there was Uthman. And Uthman was, was appointed to collect the Quran. And so he went and got the Quran. And you know what? From the days of Abu Bakr, because Abu Bakr also made a Quran. Abu Bakr made a Quran. Because if you remember at the Battle of Yamama, and I know David Wood has a hard time saying Yamama because it sounds like Yo Mama, but it's Yamama, Battle of Yamama. I don't know how to say it. But anyway, at that battle, a lot of the Hufaz, those who had memorized the Quran, they started dying in the battle. And so Uthman got Zayd ibn Thabit. And Zayd ibn Thabit collected the Quran. And, Zayd ibn Thabit went around and collected the Quran, and he put it together. And what he put together, they made into a book, and they gave it to Hafsa. Hafsa was the daughter of Umar ibn Khattab, the second caliph, and so Hafsa was also a widow of Muhammad, one of his widows, and so they gave it to her, and she had it in her house. And so Uthman says, go get the one that Hafsa has, send the pages. And so they did, but that wasn't all they did, because Zayd ibn Thabit again was enlisted. Zayd ibn Thabit, who was Jewish, he was enlisted to come and to write the Quran. He was enlisted to come and write the Quran. And so he did. He wrote another one, this time for Uthman. He had one for Abu Bakr, and now he got one for Uthman. And another thing this guy says that's interesting, he says Ibn Mas'ud has one, Ibn Ka'b, Qais ibn Ka'b had one. These are the Sahaba, the companions of Muhammad, like his disciples. They each had a different Quran. And you know what? Ibn Mas'ud, Muhammad said about Ibn Mas'ud, he says, take that Ibn Mas'ud was the #1 memorizer of the Quran. That's what Muhammad said about Ibn Mas'ud. He said he was the #1 memorizer of Quran. And you know what? He didn't like what Zayd ibn Thabit did. And he did not submit his Quran when Uthman said, okay, everybody turn in your Qurans. And then what did Uthman do with all the Qurans? He burned them. He burned them. But you know what? Ibn Mas'ud didn't. Ibn Mas'ud did not do it. And so, if Ibn Mas'ud did not approve, and Ibn Mas'ud was the guy that Muhammad said he's the #1 memorizer of Quran. He's the #1 memorizer of Quran. And yet, #1 memorizer of Quran, and yet he did not approve of what Zayd ibn Thabit did. He did not approve of what Zayd ibn Thabit did. Let's listen to Muhammad Hassan again.
الآن وأود بين القراءات السبع فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا. فجاء حذيفة وقال يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام. نقرأ حديثا للتأريخ، صار حديثا نظريا. ليه؟ لأن عثمان رضي الله عنه جمع الأمة على حرف واحد الذي به نزل القرآن على قريش، فلقد نزل القرآن بلسان قريش. ولذا صار الحديث عن الأحرف مرحلة تاريخية ماضية لا وجود لها الآن. وأود أن يفرق أحبابي بين الأحرف السبع وبين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة.
Here's the Saeed is saying, since you are saying the world is coming to an end, since you think when everything happens, I want to see you beg for mercy on the day of judgment, and goes out to all people that are like you, stupid. Okay, I can't even say all the words that he's saying. Saeed, be respectful, my friend. I know you're probably one of my cousins because I think you're from my village. You have one of our family names. What do you think, Saeed? What do you think, Saeed? What do you think about what the sheikh is saying. Never mind what I'm saying. What do you think what the sheikh is saying? Listen to what the sheikh is saying. What do you think about what the sheikh is saying? Never mind what I'm saying. This is your sheikh. This is Muhammad Hassan. He's a very well-known sheikh. Instead of cussing at me, tell me, because Muhammad Saeed, you are like probably like me. You probably learned that there's only one Quran. You probably learned that there's only one Quran. Listen to what this guy is saying. Just in what this guy says, there's 14 different Qur'ans. سبع قراءات سبع أحرف. And he said لازم تفرق بين الأحرف في القراءات. Saeed says, I'm from your village, but I'm not related to you, thank Allah. Probably, maybe not. But you know what? What do you say, Saeed? What do you say, Saeed, about what the Sheikh is saying? Listen to what the Sheikh says.
الآن وأود أن يفرق أحبابي بين الأحرف السبع وبين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة.
عشان تستوعب
كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة، سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة، اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا، فجاء حذيفة وقال يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Okay, now here Saeed says there's that I don't know what you're saying, that say false things. They're just like you as well as brainwashed people. So this is a sheikh, Muhammad Hassan. Do you know Muhammad Hassan? He's well known. He's a very famous sheikh. He's on TV all the time, or he used to be. He looks like he's a little bit older. You think that are straight and that know that there's doing circles like you and doing it for money and for religion and not straight. Now, Saeed, tell me, didn't you believe there was one Quran? Don't you believe there is one Quran, Saeed? Don't you believe there's one Quran? That's what I was taught. Weren't you taught that? Didn't you believe that? And now you're hearing this sheikh, and you can go talk to your sheikh in your jama' and ask them, because they know about this too. Says, what's this guy talking about? Sab'a ahruf and sab'a qira'at. This is 7 recitations, 7 modes. It's like, I thought there was one Quran. How come there's 14 all of a sudden? How come there's 14 different Qurans all of a sudden? And you know what? They almost had a civil war over this. And so the guy, this is after Muhammad by, at least, I'm not sure exactly the dates. I got to get you the dates. I can get you the dates about when Uthman came and when Uthman actually did this. When he burned, you know what Uthman did? He burned 6 Qur'ans because there was like 7, and so he burned 6, and then he came up with his own. So he actually burned 7, and then he came up with his own. That's why he got Zayd ibn Thabit, if you know the story. And Zayd ibn Thabit, who was Jewish, went and collected another Quran. He did it for Abu Bakr first. Zayd ibn Thabit did it for Abu Bakr first. After the Battle of Yamama, he went and collected it, and then they sent it to Hafsa. And then Uthman said, well, bring the Quran of Hafsa. Bring the Quran of Hafsa. And so they went and brought the Quran of Hafsa, but then they made another one. They made another one. And you know what? There was Ibn Mas'ud, Ibn Ka'b, and so they had all these different people who had Qur'ans. And you know what? The funny thing, that I am here with you. Oh, okay. You can come on, Adam. My cousin is talking, but he doesn't want to come on, And so let me go ahead. I want to bring Adam on because he understands this. But just before I do, I want to play this one more time because I want you to see that I'm not making this up. This is your Sheikh, Muhammad Hassan. This is your Sheikh Muhammad Hassan who's saying this.
الآن وأود أن يفرق أحبابي بين الأحرف السبع وبين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة.
عشان تستوعب اللي
كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب.
أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا، فجاء حذيفة وقال يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Okay, so, I'm not the one who's saying this. I'm not the one who's saying this. Saeed, you think all Sheikh are straight. Oh, all Sheikh. Okay, I understood this now. You think all Sheikh are straight. No, they're not. They're doing circles like you and doing it for money, not for religion. Ya Ammi, this is in your books. Hello, welcome, Adam.
Hello, Yeshua Akbar.
It's like, you know what? I just, I'm writing a paper for school, and so it's like I wasn't wanting to make anything. I just want to do a little something, and I have this video of this sheikh, and this sheikh is a well-known sheikh, Muhammad Hassan. He's very well known. He's very famous. He comes on TV a lot, and here he is saying that there's all these different Qur'ans, and he's talking even back in the days of Muhammad, because Uthman was only a few years after Muhammad, and so that when Uthman, he's the third caliph, when he gathered the Quran, he said that there were 7 recitations and 7 up. He said there's a difference between the recitations and the ahruf, between the ahruf and qira'at. So there's 14 Qur'ans at least. And he says that there was going to be a civil war over this. There's going to be a civil war. And so that Uthman, and so Hudayfa came to Uthman, says, oh, Prince of Believers, help us, because the people in Iraq are going to fight the people of Syria because of the different qira'at, the different ways of reciting the Quran. And so, have you, and my cousin, Saeed, he doesn't want to say he's my relative. He doesn't want to say he's related to me, but he is from my village. But, am I making this up, Adam? Is this something that I just made up?
I think you can actually give the reference, and then it will be very clear. It is in Sahih al-Bukhari 4988, and you have this whole story over there.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about Sahih al-Bukhari?
Yes, Sahih al-Bukhari, as most of the people know, rather anyone who has all the volumes of the Sahih al-Bukhari, they know the first volume has a preface, and in that preface it says that Bukhari collected over 50,000 hadiths, and out of those 50,000 hadiths, right now we have only 7,000 some X number of 7,000 X number hadiths in Sahih al-Bukhari as Sahih. So he actually threw the rest of them in garbage. And while collecting those hadiths, one of the major factors for him to pronounce something Sahih or Da'if is that he would go and validate and verify the guy. If he has ever spoken a lie, how is he with the neighbors, how is he with the animals, how is he with the shopkeepers and everything. And if he has ever lied in his life, if anybody has caught him lying, and etc. etc. So he had a full length page where it describes how he did the validation, and then the cross-reference of narrators between different hadiths. So this is the first book which tells you about Muhammad. Before that, you do not have any book which tells you about Muhammad.
Yeah, because the Quran only mentions Muhammad 4 times, and it doesn't tell us anything about his life. So anything we know about the life of Muhammad, everything we know came from these books. From the Sahih al-Bukhari, from Ibn Ishaq, from Ibn Hisham, from all of these, the biographers, Sahih Muslim, And so, you know, I don't know where Saeed went. Saeed, you better listen, because your eternal soul depends on what you're hearing today. Because I know you were told that there's one Quran. You were told there's one Quran, Saeed. But listen to what Sahih. What was the number of that hadith that you told me?
Over 50,000 versus 7,000 some X number.
No, but the hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari that talks about this situation.
4988.
4988, because I
Yes.
opened that, it says something else here. Sahih al-Bukhari, it says the Zayd ibn Thabit, a verse from Surah al-Ahzab missed by me. 4988.
So it is 4988 Sahih al-Bukhari. It says Hafsa bin al-Yamama came to Uthman at the time when the people of Sham and the people of Iraq were waging war. So I'm going to give you this this line, and you can search this same line in sunnah.com, and you will have this hadith right there. Because the problem is that in certain locations it is stated as one single number, and in certain location it is stated as book, volume, and hadith number. So search this line on sunnah.com and you will get it.
Sunnah, so it's 4988.
Yeah, that is 4988. Or just search this line in sunnah.com. On the top you have a search bar. Just put this line on the search bar that I just texted you on Messenger.
Okay.
And you will be able to see it.
Okay. And so, could you tell us a little bit about can you tell us a little bit about Ibn Mas'ud? Because this guy mentions Ibn Mas'ud. He says some of them were reciting what Ibn Mas'ud wrote. Some of them were reciting what Ibn Ka'b wrote. Who are these guys? Who's Ibn Mas'ud? Who's Ibn Ka'b? Ka'b ibn Qais, or Qais ibn Ka'b.
So Zayd, Ibn Mas'ud, and all these people. So you do know, you and everyone do know that Muhammad so-called had many writers with him who would use to write while Muhammad would say certain things. So first of all, you know, they are very close to Muhammad. They know Muhammad so-called, and they have everything. Somehow they have been writing those things down into piece of paper or whatever they have. And Zaid bin Tabat was one of the main guy who was even appointed by Uthman or Umar as well to write the Mus'haf of Quran. And you can actually find it in another hadith. Hold on. So you can also find the same story in Jamia Tirmidhi, volume 5, book of Tafsir al-Quran and Hadith 3104. This is also classified as Sahih, because these hadiths are so authentic to the fact that none of the scholars can disagree with it. I can read out that one as well if you want. If you can show, that will be better so that everyone can see.
You know what? Let me go ahead and read. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. Let me go ahead and read this because I found this, and it says, this is narrated by Zayd ibn Thabit. Abu Bakr sent for me and said, "You used to write down the divine revelation for Allah's messengers. So you should search for the Quran and collect it." I started searching for the Quran and I found the last two verses of Surah At-Tawbah with Abi Khuzaymah and Al-Ansari, and I could not find these verses with any other than him. They were, "Verily there has come unto you an apostle, Muhammad, from amongst yourselves. It grieves him that you should receive any injury or difficulty." So here is Zayd ibn Thabit. Zayd ibn Thabit during the first time he collected the Quran. So Zayd ibn Thabit, he was, Abu Bakr also used him to collect the Quran. Can you tell us why did Zayd ibn Thabit collect it two times?
I do not know on that. Can you please give me this answer? Because first time this Quran, so-called the ones that hadiths that I have studied, is that it was given to Hafsa, and then somehow for 10 years it remained with Hafsa in her under her pillow, and I have no idea why it would remain with Hafsa for 10 years. At the same time, if we read the next hadith, which I just sent you as well, it is from sunnah.com, and you can read it now. I have given you the whole link, and this is from Jamia Tirmidhi. I'm going to send you that link as well. If you read these two hadiths, you will realize that that Quran was not complete, so called, because within these two hadiths, Jamia Tirmidhi and Sahih al-Bukhari, you will see the in the very end it is saying that this verse was not there, but I knew it that Muhammad said it, so we found it somewhere else, and somebody else found it somewhere else. So there are certain narrations. These are very long hadiths. These two are huge paragraphs and paragraphs, because nobody knows where the Umar's Quran is, which went to um, Hafsa. Everyone proclaim the Ottomanic Quranic manuscript, which we do not actually have. Um, Problem is very simple over here. If there are multiple ahruf, assuming the fact that there are 7 ahruf, we can make so many because there were no diacritical markings. But anyhow, let's assume there are 7. How many Qurans are there in Lawh Mahfuz? That's my question. And for that, I'm going to ask you humbly to please put up this verse. This is chapter number 6, verse number 7.
Quran 6:7.
Yes, sir.
6, 7. Okay. This is Surah Al-An'am. Surah Al-An'am.
Surah Al-An'am, verse number 7.
Okay, let me just. It's just going to take me a second here. I want to take a picture because I want to. I want to make it bigger so people can read it. You know, and so sometimes it takes a second just to. Takes a minute just to take the picture of it to present it. Okay. This is Surah Al-An'am. Okay, just 1 second here. I want to put it up.
Sure. So while he's doing that, we know from all the ahadiths that some people used to remember some verses. As we know, in the Battle of Yamama, Par Uthman, many of the Hafiz of Quran got killed, and then he was afraid that there will be no Hafiz. In this verse, Allah is claiming, and even if we had sent down to you a written scripture on a page, and they would have touched it with their hands, the disbelievers would say, this is not but obvious magic. Meaning that at Muhammad's time, somehow there was no written Quran, and most of your scholars actually agree, and they proclaim this verse. It's not by me, it is proclaimed by your scholars. That's why I'm showing it, what they actually show, to say that this is why Muhammad never wrote it down. At the same time, if we remember the chapter 2 of Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fi. What does that mean? This is the book in which you have guidance. Yes, it does means that, but forget that, because Sahih International and everything will actually say that it means this. So I'm not going to Habibi, you always try to get me into a problem where I divert from the topic. So please don't do that. So yeah, there are so many issues in Quran anyhow. So Quran by himself actually talks about it being a book. If Quran within Quran is saying that book, then obviously Quran is not talking about itself, and this should be talked about Ahlul Kitab and not the book of Quran itself. So I have a different kind of an article on that. So let's not go into that discussion.
Right.
So let's stick to this discussion. So basically, we are going to stay with the scholarly agreement that Quran by itself is saying that this is the book which is for you for your guidance. Now, where is that book? During the time of Muhammad, this was not even a book. Anyone who claims otherwise has to read what the Quran 6:7 is saying, and then what the Quran another verse is saying that this is a qira. Indeed, this is 5677 I'm reading. Indeed, this is noble Quranul Kareem, Al Quranul Kareem. And if you go for the word translation, this is the noble recitation. In a register well preserved, none touches it except the purified. A revelation from the Lord of the world, Rabbil Alameen. Then is it this statement to you indifferent? So are you indifferent with the statement? So this is 5677 to 81
Of the Quran.
of the Quran. I'm a very Quran oriented guy, by the way. I'm a very Quran oriented guy because a lot of people have issues with the hadiths, so I mostly stick with the Quran.
Okay.
So this is what Quran himself is saying to you, and then Quran itself is saying in 1587, and we have certainly given you what? Sab'a min nal masani, a repetition of 7. But now imagine the holes. Now I'm going to give you all the holes. I'm going to correlate each and everything. Now I've given you 6 places of Quran where everything is happening. We know the ahadith. Quran is saying that it is a recitation, number 1, that is preserved in what? In a well protected place which nobody can touch. That is 56, chapter 56, chapter Al-Waqia, chapter 56, verse number 77 to 81. Okay. Now, Quran is preserved in a well protected location which nobody can touch except the most purified. What? Al-Mutahhirun. Okay. So this is the tablet of Allah. We know it is called Lohe Mahfuz from other verses. Forget that part now. So it is preserved there. Now Quran itself is saying that it is a book. Zalikal Kitabu la raiba fi. This is a book which has the guidance. Okay, perfect. Where is this book? And we have certainly given you, Muhammad, 7 of the often repeated and great Quran. A great Quran. Often repeated great Quran. 7 of the often repeated recitation. Because if you will read it as Quran, then you are going to say it is 7 Qurans. But you are not going to say it as 7 Quran. You are going to say 7 often repeated recitation. That is what the scholarly agreement is. So this is 7 often repeated recitations. Okay. Now, recitation, the word recitation comes from where? Quran. Yes, Quran comes from the word qira'a. Okay. Qira'a is an Arabic word. It means the pronunciation of the word, how you pronounce it. There are multiple qira'as available at this point right now as well. Somebody from Sham would speak in a different qira'a of Quran, and it will not negate it will not change the meaning of the word, because the ba will remain as ba, the ya will remain as ya, the ta will remain as ta, and every word will remain as it is. It is how you can you can speak it. For example, if I'm speaking in English as an American, my uh, my speech will be different, but I will use the same words, versus if I am in England, I'm a guy from England, and my speech will be a little different in speaking the same words. I can say cat or I can say cat. So I can say tomato or I can say tomato. I can say potato or I can say potato. So this is the difference. This is the qira'ah. Okay. Innahu laqur'anul kareem or innahu laqur'anul kareem. So this is called qira'ahs. Quran only speaks about the qira'ahs, and that's what I'm trying to say. It does not speak about ahruf, and this is the major hole in the Quran. That the after, and why this hole comes up to be. This is very important as well. From till 800 to 850 AD, till 800 AD, let's just put it this way, Muslims started conquering Arabian Peninsula. We know that from all the historians, whether Muslim historians or whatever. So nobody can deny that. When they went into other nations and they realized that their language in writing is absolutely nothing. Nobody can read their writing because it does not have the diacritical marking at all. They can read the Greek language, they can read the Jewish language, they can read the Hebrew language, because each of them has their own marker which can differentiate each and everything. On the flip side, when we talk about Arabic of the old, there are no diacritical markings, so anybody can read as Noghfir or Yaghfir or Toghfir. So the same first word can be Na or Ta or Ya. So Noghfir by itself can be can be read as multiple ways. So they started adding diacritical markings in their script.
Okay, can I just want to stop you here 1 second, 1 second, just because I want to make sure this is clear. I don't know if my cousin Saeed, he doesn't call himself my cousin, is still watching. But Saeed, the reason I'm doing this, I showed you, first of all, one of your most respected sheikhs. This guy's on TV all the time. You can go ask your sheikh what he thinks about Muhammad Hassan. And he's telling you that there's 7 ahruf and 7 qira'at, and you got to know that there's a difference between them. For me, it doesn't matter what the main point of what I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter what you call it, qira'at, ahruf, or call it batikh. It doesn't matter what you call it. What it's saying is that there are more than one Quran. That's the main thing, because I know that's what you were taught, because you went to the same school I went to. We went to the same school. They told us there's one Quran, and that the Torah's been changed, the Gospel's been changed, but the Quran cannot be changed. And I'm telling you, there's your sheikh, saying that there's all these different qira'at and ahruf. And now I brought my friend Adam Seeker, and he's showing you from the hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari. Now, if you don't know what Sahih al-Bukhari, because I know a lot of Muslims don't know their own books. That's the number 2 book in Islam, Ba'ad al-Quran. After the Quran, this is the number 1 book, is Sahih al-Bukhari. This is the number 1 book of hadith. He's showing to you where they had all these different issues, all these different problems. And now he's showing you from the Quran itself. And the issue is that the Quran of Uthman did not have to make yaghfir. See the difference between yaghfir and naghfir. In one Quran it says naghfir, and one says yaghfir. Why is that? Because they didn't have the dots. So and some of them put the dots on top, some of them put the dots on the bottom. This is called the Hafs Quran. This one's called the Warsh Quran. And you see the difference in them. Why is there these differences when they told us there's only one Quran? Not one dot's different, and yet there's all these differences. So Saeed, I'm telling you, this is coming at you from every direction. Sheikh Hassan, Sahih al-Bukhari, from the Quran itself. You need to see that they told us, they lied to us. You know, and the reason they lied to us is because they were lied to. Somebody lied to them too and told them that there's one Quran. There's only one Quran, but your Sheikh knows that there's not one Quran. There's many Qurans. So anyway, I just wanted to summarize that a little bit for my cousin there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I went in too deep, I think. Basically, what was happening is that when I was trying to figure this out myself, 3 years ago, the whole narrative was not even there. So this was very, very recent. So I had to go and search what is written and what those and I have sent certain emails that I got the response back as well. So this is how they actually correlate each and everything, and they try to tell you, oh, this is recitation, this is recitation, because they show you the Quranic verses, they show you these two Quranic verses. They say when it says that book, Zalikal Kitabul La Raiba Fi, that book means the book that is in Lohe Mahfuz, not the book that you have in your hands. All these things. So I know exactly how they actually do that. And even if you go to Shias, they will say that book means Ali, because Ali is an open book that Muhammad said. So because Quran as a book saying that book, so it is actually relating to the book which is Ali himself.
Oh, dude, you're making you're yeah, my head is spinning now. I've never heard that one before, man.
You have no idea what I have heard in different timings. So anyhow, so this is the whole narrative, holes in the narrative thing, that when you actually start looking into these things, and at the end of the day, if you look at Quran only, it only talks about a recitation, which is Qiraz, and I have shown you the verses as well. It does not talks about ahruf. And like I said, we are looking at the differential in ahruf, not in Qiraz. When we say nokhfar, yukhfar, or tokhfar, you can remove you can add another dot on the nokhfar and it will become tokhfar, which is ta, the third alif ba ta, the third character of the Arabic alphabet. So it can become tokhfar as well. Now, this is the problem, that now the ahruf are being changed. And this narrative of changing of ahruf, where did Bukhari got that? Because when Bukhari was writing these things, he knew that now we have dots, and previously there might not be dots. So he had to change in Arabic word al-kira to ahruf because he was confused.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe the one who actually told him was confused. We do not know that. We have to just take and we just have to assume things because we weren't there, because Quran doesn't talks about the ahruf. Quran only talks about the kiras.
All right, Adam, I want to go ahead and play the Sheikh again. I want to, just because he's speaking in perfect, and just in case somebody's listening in Arabic, I want him to hear it from the Sheikh himself. And then I want you to comment. Just listen to what the Sheikh says, and I want you to comment about what the Sheikh is saying. The Sheikh, his name is Muhammad Hassan, very well known in the Middle East. So just 1 second here, I want to play him again.
السبعة بين القراءات السبع فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق. هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود. يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا. فجاء حذيفة وقال: يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام. الآن سبعة وبين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة، سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة، اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا. فجاء حذيفة وقال: يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Yeah, as you have seen, initially he was talking about kiraz,
Yes.
and then at the very end he added harf, 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 harf. So that's the narrative, and this is the hole in the narrative,
Yes.
unfortunately.
And so we had the situation, just for a very simple line. I just want to give this very simple line that in the time of Abu Bakr, on the time of the first caliph after Muhammad died, there was no written Quran. They had the Hafaz, and they had the Battle of Yamama, where many of the Hafaz who had memorized the Quran started dying. And so they had so many that died that Abu Bakr said, we need to write the Quran down because the Hafaz are dying, and we're going to lose the Quran if we don't write it down. And there was even somebody who said Muhammad did not want to have the written Quran down. But Abu Bakr said, no, get Zayd ibn Thabit, who was Jewish originally, and get him to collect the Quran. This is in the time of Abu Bakr. And so Zayd ibn Thabit went and collected from all these people and wrote down the Quran and gave it to Hafsa. They put it in Hafsa's house for 10 years. Then a few years later, they started having problems when Islam grew. The people between the Iraq and Iran and Syria and everything were fighting because they had different Qur'ans, different recitations, or ahruf, or whatever they want to call it. And then they came to the third caliph, Uthman. Okay, this is the first one was with Abu Bakr, and then there was Umar, and then there was Uthman. And they said to Uthman, hey, people are fighting because of the different recitations. We need to come up with one standard Quran. And so Uthman collected all the different recitations, and he burned them. And then he appointed Zayd ibn Thabit again, and he said, okay, now you go and write another Quran. And so they brought Hafsa's Quran that was hidden for 10 years, and they did whatever changes they wanted to make to it, and came up with the Uthman Quran. And then with the Uthman Quran, okay, they made the standard. This is the standard Quran, and they sent it to 4 or 7 or however many different copies, and they sent it around to the different main Islamic cities. And so this is just a basic. But the problem with the Uthman Quran is there was no diacritical marks in it, and so they had the same problem come up. Another problem come up with the different. People later on came and put on the diacritical marks. And that's one of the reasons that we've got, the yaghfir and naghfir, the different words the different, because you change the word when you change the dots. And so anyway, I just wanted to say that because that's like a simple timeline of the beginning of the Quran, just to show how much confusion there was about it.
I'd like to add one more hadith. It says it's from Abu Ubaidah in Kitabul Fazailul Quran, and you can actually find them in Cairo Al-Habibi 1935 volume 2 book number 25. It says Ismail bin Ibrahim related to us from Ayub, from Naaf, from Umar, who said, okay, let none of you say, I have learned the whole Quran. For how does he knows what the whole of it is, when much of it has been disappeared? Let him say, I have learned what is extended thereof in.
Can you
So
send me, can you send me that?
I will do that.
I've
Yeah,
heard this before.
I
This
will.
is now this is what Umar ibn Khattab said, right?
Yes, and it is the chain of narration is Ismail bin Ibrahim related to us from Ayub bin Naaf from Ibn Umar who said this. So, and he's saying when much of it is disappeared, how can you say that you have learned the whole Quran?
See,
Okay.
I've heard this before. He said, "Don't say that I've memorized the whole Quran when much of it has disappeared."
And to because most of the Muslim says that the criteria of the hadith is to know through the Quran. Quran itself is saying we do not choose to be forgotten or abrogated some verses or given the similar or better. So Quran agrees to the fact that there are forgotten verses. This
Forgot.
is this is the whole this is the whole basically. And we have other things as well like Surah Ahzab, which is supposed to be 200 plus verses, but now it has only 73 verses. And then there are so many other things that verses are gone. For example, the verses of stoning, the verses of breastfeeding of adult, 10 times which was changed and abrogated to 5 times. They are both gone. They are eaten by the sheep.
Yes.
If and if it is only the recitation, then even if the sheep eats the paper or the leather, it does not make any difference. You have the memories. And by the way, on this, on the 10 uh, breastfeeding and 5 breastfeeding, there are multiple hadiths on that. So, and then there is a whole surah equal to Surah Tawbah is gone as per Sahih Muslim 1050, Book 12, Hadith 156, Great Sahih. So the narrative of Quran in the perfect preservation by Quran and by Hadith is a false narrative, and the faster these Muslims will accept it, the better it is. Otherwise, that's the only way to understand it, because you do not have a single Quranic manuscript dating back to first Hijri or 600 AD that you can show right now to prove that this is the Quran and we have the same one. And if Quran came in Sabah Haruf, then there should be at least 7 Qurans. Rather, there should be like 70,000 Qurans, because Sabah Haruf means one can use Nukhfar in one, but then the other thing could be Talamun instead of Yalamun. So the combination of these words altogether could actually make 70,000 Qurans, because there are 8,000 differences that you can make in one single Quran by using the aharuf, and that's the problem with it. So anyhow, I have to go. Unfortunately, I cannot stay further. I have some guests who are here.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for explaining that for us. You always
thank you, brother. Thank
bring
you,
so
brother.
much the hadith and all that knowledge that has helped so much. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
brother.
much for being with us, man.
Praise Lord. Bye
God
bye.
bless you, brother. Thank you. Lord be with you.
Amen. Thank you. And you.
Thank you. And so I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play the video. I want to play the Sheikh again. I want to let the Sheikh speak.
الآن وأود أن يفرق أحبابي بين
الأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة. اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق. هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود. يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا. فجاء حذيفة وقال: يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.
We could just, as our brother Adam has explained, really go in depth about what the holes in the narrative, the problem that we have here. And yet here is the Sheikh, he's explaining it to you. That they had 14 different Qur'ans in the time of Uthman, in the time of the caliphs. They had 14 different Qur'ans already, and it was going to start a civil war. And then they came to Uthman and said, please, Amir al-Mu'mineen, please help us. And so he went and he brought, he collected all the different Qur'ans, and then he came up with the one, Uthmanic Qur'an. And then he sent it but then after that, he started a whole new set of issues. And that's why, if you look in 1924 in Cairo, they had 37 different Qur'ans. If you want me to tell you, I've heard this from Jay Smith, that what happened is that they had standardized testing in the schools, in the different schools throughout Egypt. They had standardized testing. And so all the students were writing down their answers to Qur'an questions in Egypt. And then the government looked and said, wait a minute, how come all these kids are writing it differently from this area to this area? They're all writing different Qur'an versions. And they said, because there are different Qur'ans. There's all these different Qur'an. There were 37 different Qur'ans. And so what they did is they collected all the different Qur'ans and they threw them in the Nile River. And instead they came up with the one, this is 1924, which is the Hafs version, which is what you probably have in your house. The Hafs version of the Quran. And so that's the one that you have in your house right now. If you're a Muslim, you have the Hafs version. But there still are the other versions. The Warsh, the Susi, Aduri, Al-Qalun, Al-Khalaf, Jalalain, there's all these different Qur'ans out there. And they all have different words, different verses. And you know what's so important about this? Is that they told us there's only one. They told us there's only one. I was told there's only one. I was told the gospel's been changed, the Torah's been changed, but there's only one Quran. Well, what about all these different Qurans? What do we say about all these different Qurans? What do we say about it? And I know that my cousin came on, and I don't know where he went. I don't know if he's still with us. If you're still with me, you can come on if you want. I don't know, all my cousins, they're not coming on with me anymore. I don't know if they're angry with me or something. But I know you have to deal with this. You have to deal with this. That they told us there was one, but there's more than one. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. And it's like one thing I tell you, if they lied to us about this, what else did they lie to us about? What else did they lie to us about? When they told us there's one Quran, but there's all these 50 different Qurans, what else did they lie to us about? I'll tell you what else they lied to us about. Ma salabu ma qatalu lakin shubbaha lahu. That's a lie. Chapter 4, verse 157 of the Quran, they lied to us. When they said Jesus didn't die, that's a lie. Jesus did die. He died on the cross for our sins to save us from going to hell. They lied to us about that. They said he didn't die. He did die. He was crucified and he was buried for 3 days, and then he rose again in order to forgive our sins. And you can just ask him right now, say, Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يا مسيح ساعدني. مسيح سامحني. مسيح ادخل قلبي. مسيح ساعدني. مسيح سامحني. مسيح ادخل قلبي. هو بحبك. أنا بحبكم. He loves you. I love you. And so let me just end with this, and God bless you, and I love you, and I care about you. Okay.
الآن 7 بين القراءات السبع، فالأحرف تختلف تماما عن القراءات السبع المعروفة. كلام جميل. ارجع لعثمان بقى عشان تستوعب اللي هقوله. جاء حذيفة، سمع أهل الشام يقرؤون بقراءة وأهل العراق يقرؤون بقراءة، اختلف أهل الشام مع أهل العراق، هذه قراءة أبي، هذه قراءة عبد الله بن مسعود، يقرأ هذا بوجه ويقرأ هذا بوجه، يقرأ هذا بحرف ويقرأ هذا بحرف. اختلف الصحابة واختلف الناس وكادوا أن يقتتلوا، فجاء حذيفة وقال: يا أمير المؤمنين أدرك الأمة قبل أن تختلف في كتاب ربها اختلاف اليهود والنصارى. هنا أمر عثمان رضي الله عنه حفصة أن ترسل إليه بالصحف. الصحف اللي جمعت فين؟ في المرحلة الثانية في عهد أبي بكر رضي الله عنه، والتي جمعها زيد بن ثابت كاتب رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام.